So, here we go.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is your host, Elsie Hines. You're listening to Midnight Movie Gang, and I'm here with
Joseph J.F. Arthurs. Joseph F. Arthurs.
Joseph Arthurs, my
Man
good,
with a million names.
my good buddy Joseph. All too many, just keep stretching it out, you know?
It's hard.
Like
you
in
know?
The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. You remember The Butler? Did you watch Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
Yeah.
Esteban, Julio
Yeah.
Cortez.
It's, I have to I have to try to remember the one that my Instagram is.
Yeah, it is like
It's
just
one of those.
I think it's just J.F. Arthurs.
probably.
in it.
I
Go-
think it's Joseph F. Arthurs now.
Go ahead and follow Joseph. Follow me for that matter. I
Oh,
think I'm
thank
just
you.
at LC
Yeah, follow LC.
underscore Hines. I'll link it. Anyway, yeah, so this is Midnight Movie Gang, a show where we talk about movies, in particular, kind of more of a focus on genre and like kind of cult films, like, sci-fi, horror, that kind of thing. You looking at the Star Wars poster with the there's
I love the colors.
yeah, I've had this poster since high school. For people who are listening, because you can't see, I have a poster here in the office studio recording room of Star Wars, of the main characters in the original trilogy all in a band.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker is shredding guitar. Han Solo is rocking other guitar, probably lead guitar.
It's
'cause he's Han
honest.
Solo.
Like I love it. You're going to catch me staring at it a lot.
Yeah. Chewbacca's on the bass, Vader's on the drums, floating above the stage. And
He's on wires.
And he's held by wires. Oh, that's cool. I never really noticed that detail.
Yeah.
I've had this poster since fucking high school, and I haven't noticed. And then
Fresh eyes.
Leia's
She's got glitter boots.
she's got glitter boots and she's singing. Chewbacca's on drums,
Breaking it down.
and then in the background, R2D2 and C3PO are on the keyboards and
Wow.
the mixers. So
It's
all-
awesome. I
yeah.
love it.
This poster is pre-Disney.
Oh, good. Well, yeah.
Yeah, because Disney wouldn't
No.
allow
That's
something this fun.
Cool.
Yeah, they have like a bunch of weird rules about what they can and can't do, or what Star Wars characters can be
Yeah,
shown doing
yeah.
and not doing now. And it's
For a while, they were fine just doing anything. Like they had like a comedy show on like Disney XD or something like that. And then they instituted like new rules, like
Yeah.
new regulations on what you can show these characters doing and not doing.
yeah, like George Lucas didn't give a fuck with
No.
with what people did, and I think that was fine. 'cause-
Does it make me money? Yes, please.
Yeah,
Feed the goiter.
yeah. Fucking what is it? Like the Family Guy Star Wars episodes wouldn't have happened.
No.
Under the
now,
Disney rule. No, even though I really want to see.
Robot chicken.
Yeah. I really want to see I really want to see them do I think they could do the sequel trilogy. And here's why I think it would the fun idea you could do. You could have Meg be Rey because
Because nobody likes her.
yeah. And I think that would make sense because in the original trilogy the runoff gag is that she's like one of the creatures, like she's the Sarlacc,
Yeah.
and she's
She's
like
just like the disgusting creature.
yeah or whatever, and like it's
And
like
then
a
you make her Ray.
throwaway thing, and you make her Rey, and then it would make sense because you can add in all those things about how the public hates Rey and stuff, and make that a joke. And then I want Junior from Cleveland Show to be Finn, and then it'd be funny because he'd just be trying to fuck the whole time.
That would be really good.
Yeah, no, I think it would be excellent, and you can have Steve from American Dad be Kylo Ren. The whole thing works.
Yeah, honestly, just bring in the whole McFarlane verse.
Yeah, the whole thing would work perfectly. People need to hear me out.
In my head, it sounds really funny.
Yeah, but in execution, it probably wouldn't be. Well, you know what? Disney owns Fox now, so they could.
Oh, and you know what? Independence Day is 20th Century Fox.
That's a good point,
It
too.
could be a crossover.
A crossover with Independence Day. A movie that we're going to talk about. We haven't even said what we're going to talk about
That's
this
fine.
episode. It's fine. Our little Star Wars Family Guy rant.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about two movies today and kind of do some comparison. But mostly, I kind of wanted to do... So we're going to be talking about War of the Worlds, specifically the 1953 film
Yeah.
adaptation of War of the Worlds, directed by Byron Haskin.
Byron.
Yep.
Boy Byron.
Produced by George Powell, which I don't know. The way my buddy Rion was talking about it, he always said George Powell's War of the Worlds, so I guess he had a bigger role to play in its production than
he was
not.
saying, yeah, he's like the Michael Bay of the time.
Yeah.
Or the Roland Emmerich of the time, like the big blockbuster,
filmmaker,
big budget action movies.
That's sick. Yeah, I'm excited to watch the behind the scenes on it, because I got the whole reason we're doing this episode is because it's November and it's the Criterion sale. The Criterion Collection Blu-rays at Barnes & Noble are half off.
Beautiful cover art.
Oh yeah, no, the
honestly, the biggest reason to buy any of those is just the awesome prints.
Oh yeah, no, the custom covers for Criterion is fucking sick.
Oh my god, they all hit too. Like I love all of them that I see. I always comment like, wow, that's beautiful. That's really cool cover art.
Dude, the Bruce Lee box set is so fucking cool.
Yeah,
it's my favorite one that I own. Like the yellow.
I think you showed me this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have it over in the other room.
That's sick.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah,
but
whoever they have, like because they know that like physical media isn't really a necessity anymore, and that just having that on your shelf, that's worth the price of the Blu-ray.
Absolutely. Just looking at some Criterion Blu-ray covers, looking at the one for House. House is one of my favorites, even though I don't really like this movie that much.
So creepy.
Yeah,
love it.
There's a whole bunch.
Just these big bold colors.
Yeah, but and it's cool too because they have multiple artists work on them, because there are some that are like photography type deals and like different types of art. But the War of the Worlds one, I did pretty much just buy it for the cover.
It's a great cover.
Yeah, it's like this comic like looks like a 50s propaganda type thing.
It's like a poster you'd want to hang on your wall.
No, absolutely. Oh, that would be sick as a fucking poster.
Yeah.
Criterion. I don't think
Red,
Criterion.
Orange, green, red. I mean, it's the same color palette as the movie. Now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, pretty much that same like really vibrant.
Yeah, super like saturated, bold colors.
Before you leave, I'm going to show you the disc itself.
Yeah,
you saw it. Like,
I saw it,
is like a man being hit by the heat ray.
It's
and
so
stuff.
cool.
Yeah, Criterion should just straight up offer posters of their covers on their website.
They should.
They don't do it. That'd be a big moneymaker.
Yeah, because that's the main reason you buy the. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I buy Criterions for it's that, plus they do.
I don't know. That would be a pretty cool poster too. The original poster.
That hand looks sick.
Yeah, that's creepy.
We're looking at the original poster, the theatrical release poster on
color palette.
Wikipedia. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing where it's like the boutique Blu-ray labels like Criterion, Arrow Video's another one that I started collecting recently. There's a company called Vinegar Syndrome, Shout Factory. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And they're catering to the demographic of people who are still kind of collecting physical media, and like they're these small companies, and they also pick movies that aren't necessarily like the big hits or whatever. Like Criterion specifically,
collector's items.
Yeah. Like Criterion specifically focuses more on older films and like foreign films that that need to be restored and like people haven't really looked at in a while. And then Arrow more is like the schlockier like
B movies,
more like
stuff that you like can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, like that's the point of it, and it's cool because I feel like as far as new Blu-rays I'm buying, it's either Criterion or Arrow at this point.
Yeah,
because there hasn't really been a new movie in theaters that's come out in the last few years that's like I've really wanted to own.
Yeah,
like the only one that I really wanted to own is Spider-Verse.
That's
like,
it's just because it's all just so available to us now. Like the only like we were saying, the only reason you'd get physical copy of any of these movies is to just have something that looks cool on your shelf.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's more the reason I don't buy other kind of more quote unquote. I hate saying it sounds like a hipster mainstream movies on Blu-ray is because none of them have really impressed me to the point where like I want to own them. And rewatch them. Like as far as like. There have been a lot of movies the last few years that like I've really liked, but I just don't like. I don't know. None of them are something that like I think I will want to rewatch on a regular basis.
Yeah,
you know. But anyway, let's talk about the movies.
Oh yeah, War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds, 1953, directed by Brian Haskin.
Fun watch.
Yeah, fun watch. I got the Criterion Blu-ray of it. And we had a bunch of friends over. Had friends, partners. It was
that's the way to do it too.
It was a good time.
You know, what these old movies, you know, that you can get to comment on all the weird dated the social dynamic stuff.
Yeah. Some of the gender roles and how they're
Yeah.
like presented here definitely were fun to poke fun
the
at.
woman just breaking down in hysterics every chance, and the man there to like, no, get yourself together, quick, go make me some eggs though.
Yeah, just like, oh, we're in the middle of this alien apocalypse. You're gonna make me some burnt eggs though.
She's
woman.
making burnt eggs for him.
Yeah,
Those eggs look gross.
They did look disgusting. She used too much butter and too much.
The heat was too high.
And the heat was too high.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fucked up. Also, the electricity wasn't working, so I guess they could probably use
Gas
a match
stove. Yeah.
or some shit.
No, this movie was beautiful. Because it's
Had a great look.
it's Technicolor, right?
Yeah, it's Technicolor. It's in that.
It's got that
era.
like really bold reds and greens
Really
and
vibrant.
blues. I love it because it's like now we have color film, and to get people's asses in seats is like it's like really like more colorful than real life.
All the people look pink.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Pearl?
No,
It's a new horror movie.
Pearl.
Or have you heard of the movie X?
I've heard of Pearl. I haven't heard of X.
So X and Pearl are both. Pearl's a prequel to X, and Pearl specifically takes place in It takes place in 1918, but the whole thing is kind of like an homage
Yeah.
to the Technicolor 50s era of
That's
film.
cool.
Like in terms of like everything is super bright and vibrant. Even the captions and stuff and like all the titles look like a 50s movie. And all the cues and stuff, and it came out like 2 years ago.
I think
It's a really nice send up to that style. The colors in it really
it's
hit.
great. Yeah, I think it adds something. I don't think that it's like useful for every movie, but I think for this kind of crazy sci-fi story,
The colors
yeah,
definitely hit.
yeah,
for
especially
sure.
you have these like bright red lasers, and like the tricolored periscope thing that comes out of the
With
saucer.
The green, blue, yeah,
Yeah,
color plays
red,
a
green,
big.
red, green, and blue, or red, green, and blue little lenses on it. No, I think it holds up really well. I think it's thoroughly entertaining. It's even more entertaining when you have friends there to laugh at it with.
Absolutely. Do you want to we want to summarize the plot?
Yeah.
Or like, we can really summarize because spoiler alert.
Yeah, this has been covered a few times,
And for a movie based on a book that's literally over 100 years old.
and has also influenced pretty much every
Every
story
sci-fi.
about aliens invading Earth.
Yeah.
That's come after it. This movie is extremely influential,
Mhm.
like to the point where if things aren't referencing it, they're blatantly like parodying it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can't make an alien invasion movie without having at least some
It's
nods
War of the Worlds.
to War of the Worlds.
They did it first. They did it really well. So
Mhm.
H.G. Wells specifically, I suppose.
Yeah. So like basically the plot is it's in it takes place in 1953 Southern California.
Mhm.
The original book takes place in late 1800s England.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, very interesting because that's when the book was written. But like it's about a very different type of fear, and like one of the
Nuclear.
one of the interesting things like with this movie is that it's very clear that a lot of the what they are what am I trying to say? Like a lot of the allegory in this movie for what the aliens represent is like a fear of nuclear attack.
Absolutely.
Because we're like fresh out of
And
World
it's
War
not
II.
subtle at all.
Yeah, it's not subtle whatsoever. Like it's direct.
There's so much duck and cover in this
Mhm.
movie. There's so much like missile imagery and things being launched and hitting other things.
Mhm. Just the way the aliens, their weapons kill us.
Yeah.
Like we get
Yeah.
burnt to ash, and they leave
You
trails
leave
of
shadows.
dust behind.
Yeah, and then you've got like the mass hysteria and the buildings collapsing, and like it's not subtle. Like it's very clear like what they're scared of.
100%. And yeah, basically it's 1953 in California. An alien crashes near it's like a small town. Or
Mhm.
like most of the movie.
Yeah, it's like a little town.
We're in this like small community. A meteorite crashes. They think it's a meteorite.
They're immediately like everyone's on the same page. Is like, oh, sick! This is gonna bring in so much money, so many
Exactly.
tourist dollars. We don't.
Yeah.
We have no idea what it is.
I
But
lo-
literally, everyone's like, we can make money. We'll set up tables over there. We'll sell food.
I love that scene where all the businessmen are like, "Yeah, no, we'll set up a restaurant." And they're like, "Oh no, we can't bring picnic tables over here because then people will bring their own food."
Yeah.
It's so goddamn funny, and such a really representative of the time.
Yeah.
Like the first thing we're gonna
The way
think
people
of
talk and stuff. Yeah.
is like how we're gonna exploit
Yep.
this.
And the big boom.
Yeah. And then for a minute, like for a few days, I think in terms of movie, we were like the first day at least, the meteor is just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, and people can't tell what it is, and it's
yeah.
still like too hot to get anywhere near.
Yeah, and then basically a little snake head like periscope tentacle thing pops out of the top of it, which was a pretty good scene and a very good design.
Scary. It's really
Yeah.
creepy. Like still effectively. Like they put a lot of time into just like a thing starts unscrewing on the
Yeah.
pod.
Like
Look,
thematically, it's
arguably
very-
maybe a little too much time. I think I started laughing before I was like,
Yeah, it started. Yeah, no, the pod started unscrewing, and it just
it's like,
kind of
okay,
did good for a
we get
while.
it."
yeah, and then this tentacle thing pops out. It's an impressive. It's pretty big. This is the thing too. Like it's
Yeah.
very intimidating.
Yeah, it's scary.
And then they go up to it with
They're waving a white flag.
a white flag, which we were joking around in the movie that like what if a white flag in outer space is like the universal decoration for go
Or
fuck yourself.
Yeah, go fuck your mom or
Go fuck-
something.
yeah, just like that's time. But anyway, yeah, then the alien zaps them.
Yeah,
And then the military shows up to try to destroy it, and it doesn't work.
obviously. Yeah.
And then more ships start crashing.
And they're like a common theme between these two movies and a lot of alien invasion movies is the military shows up and like it starts being hostile, so they shoot at it, and then that does nothing, like absolutely nothing. So they're like, ah, shit, we should shoot more at it. and it escalates to the biggest gun we have.
Let's just keep going.
And they're like,
Nukes.
well, this will do it for sure.
This'll
And that
get
does
'em.
nothing either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, no, it is kind of a funny, almost trope you can consider. But, like I was saying, like, that's the natural conclusion. Like, it's the biggest gun we have if this situation ever happened in real life.
But
you
yeah,
know?
but it's like none of our other guns. We haven't even seen anything like crack the shell, and everyone, especially in War of the Worlds, is so sure that the nuke is just gonna solve the problem. Or atomic bomb, I guess. Is it nuclear yet? 1953.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I guess it's all nuclear, right?
yeah, it is nuclear. Nuclear.
But it was before we started calling it that.
Yeah. Well, I think at that time, like, it was definitely referred to as nuclear weapons. Like, when
I
did
don't know anything about anything.
I saw Oppenheimer in theaters, and I can't tell you when
haven't
it
seen
took
it.
place
I'm excited.
because
I'm waiting for it to not be $20 to watch at home.
Yeah. Me and Courtney are gonna watch that in parts.
Yeah.
1945 is when Hiroshima happened.
Yeah. So not even 10 years before this.
Yeah. But yeah, basically in the movie, the only real character I feel like there are very few like actual characters in this movie. The main character we follow is this man who's the most manly protagonist man.
We'll just call him Man.
Yeah, well, his character, the character's name is Dr. Clayton Forrester.
Clayton Forrester.
And he's
I thought he looked bored the whole movie. I think it's just might be the way his eyes like are shaped, but he just seemed like tired the whole time.
For me, I think it's just more how men were.
Yeah, he has to be all like stoic and
Has to be all stoic and badass, and
Yeah.
nothing can harm. Like how men are represented
that run
at this
though.
time in media. Yeah, his run towards the end, where he's running through the streets of L.A. and
It's
shit's
like-
falling.
On one hand, it's a really funny run. On the other hand, it's like I kind of want to run like that.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting a good jog.
He's
in.
got like his arms out to his side and kind of like down by his waist, and he's kind of pumping. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of a really funny looking run.
It's a very funny jog. I
Yeah.
feel like a part of it is like there was no other movie like this at this scale at that time, so there wasn't like a whole lot of reference as to like how to make a convincing action run.
Yeah, that's
Because-
true. He has a leather jacket on though.
Yeah, that's true. It's just like no one has has seen a movie or seen something where it's like, if there was an alien invasion, how should I be running? You
Just
know?
leisurely.
Yeah.
If you're jogging.
Yeah. But yeah, Clayton Forrester, he's a scientist. He shows up at the at the crash site with the meteor, and immediately
Yeah.
he's spitting facts.
He is.
As far as like
He's the right guy. You
Yeah.
know?
He's
He's
al-
the Jeff Goldblum.
he's always right about everything. And
Mhm.
more than this character was definitely like a direct inspiration for like definitely visually and with a couple of like
Absolutely.
characterization elements for David in Independence Day for sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, he immediately he's like, oh, the asteroid the meteorite, like with how big it is, it would have made a bigger crater. It wouldn't have been this small. And all the time he's like, "Yep, those are aliens.
And everyone's like, okay,
They're probably Martians."
I don't know what you want me to do with this information.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone was oddly calm in this movie.
The whole movie. And it's like society is broken down. You know what? I think it's related to after Nixon, American society trusted the government a lot less, and that's where we live now. Like we live in
Mhm.
but before that, it was like the government like knows what they're doing. Everything's under control.
Yeah, like everyone
Yeah.
had faith.
Yeah, everyone had a lot more trust, and I think that's because like if you made that movie now, like we'd see everyone like disheveled. But in War of the Worlds, everyone's like hair is like perfectly kempt. Everyone's like speaking very calmly and rationally to each other, like it's Star Trek. Meanwhile, society is literally collapsed outside.
Yeah, like the aliens have destroyed every major city at this point. Yeah, and basically after this one alien starts attacking, more show up, and the middle section of the movie, really, it's like the movie's very short. It's only 85 minutes.
It's very I love like how tight it feels.
Yeah,
It moves. It moves. It doesn't feel rushed, but it feels like it's chugging along. You know.
yeah. Every scene has purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The middle section of the movie is basically Clayton Forrester and Sylvia Van Buren, she's the niece of a priest who sacrifices himself to the aliens. Basically,
She's there. Yeah. Very
Um,
Christian undertones to this whole movie.
Yeah, and she's talking about God throughout the whole movie,
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much,
Oh, it's really prevalent,
100%.
especially by the end. If you can't see it, you're blind.
Yeah, and they're in this like house, in this like farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. They eat eggs, and then the aliens crash into this house. And we get to see the Martian at this point in the movie.
I forgot about the Mirelurk Martian.
Yeah,
Looks like a Mirelurk from Fallout.
yeah.
With its shell taken off.
What do you think of the alien design in this movie?
We didn't see it very clearly. It showed up for like one scene very briefly.
Mhm.
I think it looks funny. I think the alien itself looks really funny. And I want like a plush version of it.
Yeah, it's got like the Simon eyeball.
Yeah.
Where
But I think that the ship, like the little like
manta ray looking.
those things look awesome.
Yeah, the ship design is really good.
Those things still hold up like today. Like they look great.
Yeah,
Like I think that like we were talking like I think the key to designing something that like withstands the test of time like that, especially when you're talking about aliens, is just do something
simple.
that barely has any reference to any, like it's just something just as out there as you can get it. Like the closest thing is like it kind of looks like maybe like a bird or like a swan.
A sea creature.
Yeah, but that's just all like a Rorschach test. Like it's just a shape. It's like almost resembles something that can fly. I think that looks sick, but the alien itself looks like a goofy little guy in a suit.
Yeah, like a goofy little meat guy with a
Yeah.
Simon eyeball.
Little meat guy.
The arms are super spindly, and he's got little suckers on the end
Yeah,
of his fingers.
he's cute though.
He's got a funny screech
Yeah,
when he runs away. Like, yeah,
they scare him away.
they scare away the alien.
It's like, oh no, come back.
Definitely. The aliens, and you saw the 2004 Independence War of the Worlds, right?
No.
Oh, you
Oh yeah,
haven't?
no, I did. Yeah, the Tom Cruise one. I
Yeah.
didn't really like it.
Yeah, it was, man, this one was definitely better. The alien design in that movie definitely was a lot more akin to like Independence Day.
Yeah.
As far as like they look, oh God.
Shit.
Sorry, we got the Discord sound.
It's all good.
They look a lot more kind of like the gray aliens, like a more of a, when we think about aliens in
Yeah.
movies or TV shows,
Just
like closer.
like I was saying it like just like they told the production designer like make an alien.
Mhm.
I trust you.
Yeah, go nuts.
Yeah. And they were
Also-
just like, okay, what's an alien look like? It
Yeah.
looks like an alien.
Also, another fun fact with the aliens in the Spielberg War of the Worlds, they're not Martians. Spielberg's like, nope, they're not Martians. They're
What?
from farther away.
Oh,
Which
why?
is- I love that they're Martians.
Yeah, what a
specifically.
fucking needless thing to change.
Like, I like knowing they're Martians. Mars Attacks, a
That's
better
so-
adaptation.
Oh yeah, I will talk about Mars Attacks as
Yeah.
we get to Independence Day.
We should have watched Mars Attacks too.
Yeah, we should have.
Yak, yak.
That's a perfect middle ground between these two movies.
Yeah, it's exactly half and half.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So this middle section of the movie, they're in this house that gets destroyed. They end up escaping. They make their way to, like, if I remember correctly, to like a lab of some kind,
Yeah.
like a government lab where they're trying to find weaknesses for the aliens.
Mhm.
They try to nuke the alien. They try to nuke an alien spaceship and it doesn't work.
I think something about this movie that I can't really extend to Independence Day is while they're trying to solve these problems, the aliens are like actively like wreaking havoc and just razing towns and killing people. And I love that. I love that it's just like it's continuing to be chaos outside while you're like trying to argue and bicker about what you should do. While Independence Day, they're just like kind of hanging out. And it's like, oh, they might invade like soon.
There might be a little bit of like less of a sense of urgency.
Yeah, they show up and they blow a bunch of shit up, and then it's just like, now we wait.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Independence Day takes place
over just a couple days.
Over 3 days, whereas like this movie,
that's fair.
It seems like it takes place over a much longer course of time. Like,
yeah.
There's like a little montage sequence, like going into the third act of like the aliens have taken over this world. We've got reports of this and this coming in, and it feels like it's been like weeks.
Yeah.
You know.
I love that montage though.
Yeah.
It was a great montage. I think this movie got nominated for an Oscar in editing that year.
Yeah, I'll look at its accolades.
And it's this is a very well received movie. For good reason. It, like I said, it holds. It's worth a watch.
Critical reaction. Yep. So the World's won for special effects as the sole nominee that year, and it was nominated for film editing. It did not win for.
Yeah.
And it also got nominated for sound recording, which sound looks very different nowadays.
Fucking Academy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree with you as far as like yeah, the effects definitely really help it. There are some really good destruction sequences too.
Yeah.
Like when the house gets destroyed by the meteorite, by the ship crashing, I think that part looks great.
The miniatures in this movie blew me away.
Yeah, the miniatures are really good.
They had like whole towns and like these like alien ships just rolling through them and blowing them up. Like they had all these buildings. Like it's like I'm really impressed by the effects in this movie.
Yeah, no, they definitely hold up. Yeah, so the next part of the movie after the nuke fails is pretty much like everyone's just trying to escape. The world's kind of falling apart. They're in LA. Dr. Forrester loses Sylvia pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's like looking for her through destroyed LA.
That's when he's doing the run.
Yeah, and he's doing the goofy run.
He like his truck like gets stolen and like the riots are going, like people are going insane and evacuating the city, and he's just. I think my favorite part of this movie was him just like looking for this woman amidst like all this destruction and horror. I kind of just want a whole movie like that.
Yeah, where it's like just all takes place during like, that crazy
like maybe
period.
not necessarily someone who's trying to solve the problem, just someone trying to like
survive.
get through this. Yeah.
That's kind of what the movie Skyline was supposed to be.
Yeah.
But just like, you remember Skyline?
Like the chili?
No, it was another alien invasion abduction movie where similar thing, the world's ending, and it's all basically it's like about a group of survivors who are they're in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And they're in a hotel room in some city, and there's an alien invasion happening outside.
That's sick.
And they're just like saying this. It sounds sick, but the movie was ass. It's a cool idea, but
good chili, bad movie.
Yeah.
Most controversial thing I've said on the podcast. Skyline has good chili.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Skyline.
Yep. Most people aren't.
Yeah, no. We have some friends who love it, but we're just not.
Yep.
There was a show I was working. I think at Nationwide, where I heard some of the tour crew talking about like, oh, like Lubby and Columbus, like, yeah, we're gonna get Skyline. Oh, I love Skyline. That's where we live. Come back here. I'm like, really? You're traveling all this way?
Hey, man, it's open for a reason. Some of us don't mind it.
I guess. Yeah, no. So then they're hiding in a church and they're all praying. Like the last part of this movie, the aliens are stringing the rest of LA.
The church is the only building that's still standing. It's a cathedral, but like still.
Yeah. It's a beautiful building. Like the architecture.
They use like some shots that are miniatures, but like it's a really pretty building. Everyone's praying for like for God to intervene.
And then one of the alien ships crashes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, no, it's like he's a drunk driver and he just kind of swerves off the road a little bit and hits the wall.
yeah. It hits a building and crashes, and then the rest of them do, and then we get a pretty cool shot of which
The arm, dude.
of the arm, which I would make the argument that excuse me, that could be the only time we see like the Martian.
That would be preferred. I agree.
Any part of the Martian, I feel like
the little goofy guy running around kind of destroys some of the mystique.
Yeah, or at the very least, like if they still had that scene with the goofy Martian, maybe you just never get a full shot.
Yeah,
like there was a shot before you saw the whole creature where it just kind of ran like through some bushes in the background.
Yeah,
if you kind of left it like
just leave
that,
it. Yeah,
it's kind of like that. Kind of reminds me of like, have you seen the movie Signs?
Yeah,
Signs. All the best scenes with the alien in that movie where you just see like a leg or you see a hand go under a door, or like, you know, whatever. Like it's a lot more scarier because when you finally do see the full creature in that movie, it looks like shit.
Yeah. Oh god, I could do a whole rant on Signs.
I love Signs.
Really?
Yeah.
So Signs is really effectively. I just brief divergence into Signs real quick.
Okay, you're gonna have to keep it brief because I could talk forever about.
Yeah.
Signs.
Okay. Signs is really like effective thriller and like effective like fear, but the ending absolutely like ruins any rewatch value for me.
Really?
Not only are they,
when you say the ending, do you mean just from like when they
show up in the house?
Yeah.
Not only are the aliens like weak to water, and they decided to invade a planet that's mostly covered in water, but they're also weak to Joaquin Phoenix hitting them with a baseball bat.
That's true. But you know, the Joker's got that arm.
Why are they just walking around naked? Like what's their game plan on this invasion?
They're nudists on their planet, you know? They're all about free love.
Idiots. What are they doing?
Yeah, they are pretty dumb. I mean, honestly, for any like alien invasion movie, it's the same thing with Independence Day as far as like, you know, there are some pretty big plot holes in terms of like how the aliens are going to invade. Same thing in War of the Worlds, honestly, too. Yeah. Like, if these aliens are so advanced so they can go from Mars to Earth to invade,
a valid criticism.
Why wouldn't they think like, oh, like we should get our flu shots?
Well, that's the thing. Like, so if anyone hasn't seen it, the reason the aliens fail in the end is because they are susceptible to the bacteria in our atmosphere, which I had never thought of before, but like I had always wondered like, well, why didn't they just die when they first arrived? But apparently it like took a second. So I'm like,
it's got, you know, every disease has an incubation period.
Yeah.
Like if you get COVID, like, you know, you're not gonna feel symptoms until a few days into it.
Absolutely. But like it's not a criticism. It's just funny to think that they're like in their little ships, just sick as fuck, and they're just like, oh, I just feel like I can't even enjoy this.
I got a sore throat. Someone bring me ice cream.
They're like puking off, like, oh, something's really going around. Anyway, let's continue the invasion.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, no, you got any cough drops?
Yeah, they're just sick and feeling like miserable. They have like a blanket around them while they're like blowing up buildings.
Yeah, that is a cute notion. But yeah, no, that's the big.
They die of botulism.
Yep, they die of disease, and that's kind of like the big. You could call it a twist.
Yeah,
as far as like how we defeat it.
It's a cool idea.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and it makes sense. I think it's one of those things that you know, I feel like every one of these kind of movies, and Aliens is a specific thing too, as far as like, you know, and everyone's heard this analogy. If an alien species that was capable to bring their whole civilization or like a big armada to another planet,
interplanetary travel.
Yeah. It would be the equivalent of us rolling up on some ants.
Yeah.
Or like some animal.
Yeah.
You know, and being like, you know, if we wanted to destroy like an anthill or destroy like a, you know, community of animals or whatever, they could not, they had zero chance of stopping us.
Yeah, you wouldn't call that a war. You'd call that just like getting something out of your way.
Exactly. Or like a rat infestation or something, you know. Like our technology, like our abilities are just so much more above them, and it'd be the same way with aliens that could do that. Like their technology is so far past us that like
it wouldn't even be a question. It's just a chore for them. Yeah.
So every one of these movies has like above everything else, there has to be some kind of thing to suspend your disbelief on as to like how we could defeat. There's like a trick to defeating the aliens in all of these movies.
Yeah,
you know,
there's got to be some weakness, or else it's just
it's just
a
fucked.
Movie about exterminating human beings.
You know, yeah, exactly.
Which I'd watch, but you know, it's not this movie.
Yeah, like with signs, it's water.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh man,
there should be more. I'm trying to think if there's any content where it's just like, the aliens beat us and we're fucked. That's kind of, I can think of a few things, but not a whole lot. Where the aliens just win.
It's kind of like it's like a Lovecraft thing. They're just like where we barely register, like on the galactic radar kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So the War of the Worlds, and that's pretty much the end of the movie, is that the aliens get colds and die.
Yeah, and then the movie attributes that to God intervening.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if that...
Very, very Jesus-y ending on this one.
Yeah, I don't know if that... If all the God stuff is in the book. I'd be very curious to...
I don't think so.
Maybe read the book. I don't know. It's a very old book.
Rayon, right?
Rayon, yeah.
Rayon was saying he kind of... This director... or the producer, I can't remember, kind of injects
a lot of his
own, lot of religious imagery and
so it's
sentiment into his movies.
So it's not present in the book.
I don't think so. It doesn't really track with the rest of the story.
Yeah, I looked at the Wikipedia plot summary of the book, and there are definitely a few interesting things that and like a lot of visual iconography from the book that I remember being in the Spielberg version that I was kind of looking forward to seeing what this movie did but didn't. So in the book, I know this from reading Wikipedia the other day, the Martians are specifically here to get human blood.
Yeah.
They're specifically like...
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, they're specifically like, apparently that's how they survive, is like they're like, their blood can't retain some kind of thing, so they need to harvest our blood.
Because in that case, they're not here to just sweep us away. They see us as like things to harvest.
It's scarier.
Which that's a lot scarier.
For sure. And in the book and also in the Spielberg movie, and they never say it in the Spielberg movie, but theory is like it's the same thing in the Spielberg movie. In the Spielberg movie they're capturing humans.
Yeah.
As in just killing some too, but also capturing them and bringing them into the ship. You never see what's there, in the ship, but there are all these. Remember in the Spielberg movie, there's all the red vines everywhere.
Yeah.
When Tom Cruise comes out of the basement.
Yeah.
That's literally like.
Oh yeah, that's human blood, right?
It's like human blood, and there's like all sorts of things too. Like the aliens use biological warfare. Like they have this gas that goes in and kills people, and like all of those elements weren't in this movie, and a lot of it probably just being because it's a 50s movie that is still
they
like
probably wouldn't want to show blood harvesting in 1953.
Exactly, like it probably was
the Hays Code or something like that.
Yeah, there's probably some kind of code where it's like it's definitely a little bit too violent for this movie. That is, at the time was probably something that like you could bring your family to, like this big spectacle.
Yeah,
and
film.
It
is. I mean, we see like a couple drops of blood, and even that was probably pretty shocking.
Yeah, but no, I definitely would be interested. I might listen to the audiobook of the original book for sure. But yeah,
the classic Orson Welles radio play reading that caused people to I think that story is exaggerated, but I prefer to believe in people going out and shooting at the sky.
That everyone went crazy.
Yeah, they're just Americans were dumb and just like saw like, that's real.
I feel like you could do something similar to that today. Like you could just like have like, I don't know, a deep fake Joe Biden video being like, hey, so the aliens are here. Get fucked, losers.
Peace, I'm out. I'm going to go play Fortnite.
Bye. It's your Uncle Joe. Yeah, I feel like you could do that today and it could be... Well, actually, you know what? Boomers would believe it.
That's true.
Gen Zers would be like, it's fake.
Yeah. Yeah, if you just posted enough on Facebook with like big like red text on it or something, you'll get a hefty portion of the boomer population.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So we already talked a lot about it, but yeah, the special effects really are pretty great in this movie.
For me, it's just the colors. Like when I'm thinking about this movie, I'm just thinking about how vibrant it is.
It is pretty beautiful.
Yeah.
Are there any other particular high points for you? Maybe. Were there any other characters that kind of stood out for you or anything like that?
I liked a General Man. which is the big general. Well, yeah, one of the big generals that we meet in the movie, and his name is literally General Man.
And he's the manliest man.
And I just think that's funny. I just like that. That just tickles my funny bone a little bit. Gives a little tickle. Man, what would any part or character stick out to you?
I did really like the moment where the priest was walking towards
Trying
the
to
ship.
preach Jesus to the aliens.
Yeah.
Just to show that they're godless heathens.
Yeah, I just found I do have a soft spot for any time in a monster movie or a creature movie where someone is like no fear going up to the thing.
I accept
Like-
that I may die.
Yeah, like have you seen Kong Skull Island?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that part.
You know when he has the grenades,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
And so,
I never don't laugh at that. That is so funny. If it's not
Yeah.
intended to be funny, that's the worst director ever because it is the funniest part of the movie.
I don't necessarily think it's funny. It is an over the top thing.
Oh, it is
But
so funny because he's pulling his grenades, and this is like his big sacrifice
yeah,
moment.
and
He just gets knocked into a mountain and does nothing to the monster.
yeah, that end
That is
result
hilarious.
Is, the end result is pretty cool. But I just love I love the idea and the iconography of somebody just like sacrificing themselves
It's
to
cool.
the creature to save. And that wasn't necessarily what the preacher was doing in this movie.
It's
but,
really cool.
But it's just I just like the visuals of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, like a lot of the characters are not.
They're 50s movies characters. They're just there to
Yeah.
say lines.
Yeah, it's hard to really give a shit
Yeah.
with them. The main guy is kind of generic guy. I'm trying to think of like genuine complaints. Like a lot of it is like kind of
It's just, another time.
yeah. You got to get perspective because the movie is so old. As far as like things about it, the score didn't really stick out to me that much.
Not really.
There wasn't anything.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It's a fun watch. I wouldn't watch it every day, but
Yeah.
it's fun.
I also think that I feel like even though they had the montage sequence and there was stock footage of like other countries, I feel like I didn't get a good sense that this was happening all over the world
Yeah.
as much. And I don't necessarily know what you could have done with that
Yeah, I
since they
don't
were
know.
pretty
They
limited.
did the montage and they showed like India and like a couple other countries. But it is very like America focused
Yeah.
because it's an American movie and it's the 1950s,
Mhm.
Cold War starting.
100%. And you know what else? You touched on it a little bit earlier, I think, in the opposite way, but I do think that there is a sense of urgency about this situation and fear that is lost
Yeah.
a bit, where like people should be freaking out a bit more.
Yeah, I
That's-
love how just everyone's just losing their minds in this movie except for the people in charge.
Exactly. Especially, well, I'm saying I didn't feel that enough, really,
Yeah, I get that.
as far as like, especially if it's an allegory for fear of nuclear attack. Like people should be kind of freaking out more and more paranoid, and I think they could have represented that a bit better. But
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I'm excited to go back and watch the special features and see how they made a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
Like
you can see the wires here and there.
yeah, but I mean that's fine, and I think that it,
whatever, it adds to it. It's fun.
yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, it's cool to see like how they built that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more thoughts on War of the Worlds before we move on to Independence Day?
No, I really like I like the how clear of I wonder how much they talked about nuclear war while they were making this movie, because it's just so like you were saying, the way that the aliens kill people, they just like disintegrate and like they stop where they're standing and they just disappear, and that's what nuclear bombs do. It's like there's so many parallels you can draw. Like there's explosions and people are ducking and covering under tables and like running scared and like hunched over. It's like you see they even launch an atomic bomb and you see like plane or like trees bowing and shit. I just think it's really cool, like with that historical perspective, especially because it had just been World War II and like fear of, and the Cold War was starting, so like fear of invasion was also there, but especially nuclear invasion, and that's very clear.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the movie.
It was a good time. Yeah. So Independence Day,
Ooh boy.
1996, directed by Roland Emmerich, who just loves blowing up monuments
Yeah.
and destroying the world. All of his movies are big disaster movies.
Yep. Independence Day is the most movie I've ever seen.
It is movie the movie.
It's
It is.
extremely movie.
Yeah, I wanted to ask. So you've seen this before. Do you remember
Yeah.
your the first time that you saw it?
Probably just like on cable as a kid, just like growing up.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is dumb.
It is pretty like low brain.
Yeah.
Like very.
It's jock sci-fi.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the way that we beat the aliens is like we have the biggest guns.
We punch them harder.
We punch them. We're gonna punch aliens in the face. I love that scene so much.
How'd you watch it growing up?
I mean, it was one of the movies I grew up with.
Just on.
We had the VHS of it.
Nice.
Growing up, my mom, we had this big wardrobe full of VHS tapes and DVDs.
Yeah,
And it just had every movie ever.
that's
like,
sick.
You know, and
Face Off.
Face Off was in there.
Nice.
Definitely. I watched the VHS of Face Off. I usually skipped to what is it? When I watched Face Off, I usually skipped to when they did the Face Off a lot. Like when he first went to prison, because for me, it's like I want to get to the face off.
I want to see them face off.
Yeah. But Independence Day was one that I watched a lot. Although with the VHS, I skipped after the dissection scene.
Really?
Because that scene scared the fucking piss out of me as a kid.
It is scary, especially it's got that jump scare.
Yeah, it's got the jump scare.
Data dies.
And then like when they show the alien face and like the eyeball opens.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing that scared the most out of me, ironically, in that scene was the hand moving.
Oh yeah.
Like a creep, like because the alien
is a creepy hand.
Yeah, because the alien is supposedly knocked out unconscious. If you want to talk about fucking plot holes in this movie, and this is something I've thought about for years.
There's a couple.
Why the fuck didn't they have guards in the room with like 30 guns pointed
Why
at
are
the
they
alien?
letting everybody in here?
Yeah, because no. Why weren't they? Because it was only the doctors
Well,
in
yeah.
the room.
Yeah, that's true.
It was only the doctors in the room. They should have had like 30 guards because they knew it was alive. They're like, how long has it been unconscious? Like it could wake up at any minute, which it did.
The whole, I think we said it while we were watching. Everything in this movie is to serve dramatic effect.
Yeah.
Logic is secondary or tertiary. Like it is not considered.
Yeah.
This movie isn't designed to be a deep piece of sci-fi.
No.
It's a summer action movie, and if you think too hard about it, the movie is laughing at you.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is the ultimate like summer popcorn flick.
Yeah.
I would love. I hope they do some kind of re-release at some point, or if there's some kind of screening around me, because I would love to see this in a theatrical.
Yeah.
environment.
Well, it's just because the scale is so impressive.
Yeah, the scale and the effects, which we'll definitely get into as we kind of go through.
Yeah.
The plot a little bit, which I could recite the plot of this movie the back of my hand.
sure,
I've seen
yeah.
it so many times. But yeah, no, growing up, it was a childhood favorite. My mom and I watched it every 4th of July.
I think Mars Attacks in this movie overlap in my brain a lot because this came out before Mars Attacks, right? Am I going insane?
I'm
Because
pretty
if Mars
sure.
Attacks came out before this, I'm gonna actually go.
I thought Mars Attacks.
I'm going to
was-
lose my mind because they are so similar.
Mars Attacks. It came out the same year.
Ah, really?
Yeah, I don't know. When,
Oh,
when were
man.
the exact dates? Mars Attacks was December 13th, 1996.
Because Mars Attacks is like you could call it a parody of this movie.
Yeah. And there's no way that it was made
That is
Um,
insane.
1985, 1993. I'm looking at the production of Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they started working on Mars Attacks. The original script for Mars Attacks was completed in 1994. So, yeah, it was
That is insane to me.
independent. So I guess Mars Attacks is more a
They-
riff on War of the Worlds.
They're
than
like
anything else.
the same movie.
There
they
is a lot
have
of similarities.
so many things in common. So like both of these movies follow multiple characters who don't know each other, whose paths cross as the invasion happens.
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 plot lines.
There's so many story beats that are exactly the same. This is freaking me out a little bit. Because I've watched Mars Attacks a lot. I love that movie.
We should have done a parody of Mars Attacks. We should watch just Mars Attacks and add that as an addendum to
Yeah,
this.
for sure.
Yeah.
No, there's a spooky amount that's similar. So if these two like didn't know about each other and they just like made the same movie, that's insane.
That is pretty crazy.
They are kind of like Independence Day is kind of a soft reboot of War of the Worlds though in a couple ways.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of inspirations, allegories, characters that serve similar purposes. For sure. And yeah, I think I've only seen Mars Attacks like maybe twice. It wasn't one that I super grew up with, and also it's
go
ahead.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
I was gonna say the type of humor that Mars Attacks has isn't a humor that like super works for me.
I get it. I think it's like I like it. I think I only like it so much because I grew up with it. I know it was a failure at the box office, and I know a lot of people just can't stand it.
I mean, like I think it's funny for sure. It's been so long since I've seen it. I just remember, and I saw it probably around the right time, like maybe when I was in middle school, or early high school. I think just something about it didn't hit with me. I think for me, it's more just like when it comes to aliens in movies, I kind of have a different kind of respect for, because like a lot of my favorite sci-fi action horror movies have to do with aliens, and I guess even though Independence Day is by no means a more serious movie, it is definitely more grounded than Mars Attacks.
Yes,
you know, in terms of like, especially
I would say so.
In terms of like how the aliens are presented in this movie, like they are definitely like meant to be at least scarier.
Yeah, and they are.
You know?
They're scary.
Yeah.
I just think that they're a little generic looking. More so even than War of the Worlds.
Than the original War of the Worlds?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely a unique design. I don't think that the kind of like typical gray alien with like the big eyes and the big head look was really popularized at that. I don't know when that iconography started.
Yeah. It just feels like it feels like sci-fi made by people who don't enjoy sci-fi.
Independence Day does?
Yeah. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. That's kind of, honestly, that's kind of
like they just wanted to make a disaster movie where the disaster was aliens.
People called Independence Day the Star Wars of the 90s, and that's kind of a similar thing.
It's fair.
Where like George Lucas,
it's just fantasy, but there's like spaceships and stuff.
Yeah, like George Lucas wasn't a huge fan of a lot of the philosophical elements of sci-fi and like a lot of the
nuts and bolts stuff,
the intellectual part, but he loved the look of sci-fi.
Yeah,
but he also grew up with like dumb adventure TV serials and like fantasy stories and stuff like that, so he decided like take this you know, so it kind of makes sense that
turn it into my own thing.
Yeah, where like this movie's kind of a similar path where it's like it's got a lot of great, you know, it's got a lot of aesthetics borrowed from like kind of the Twilight Zone-y, like 50s kind of B-movie sci-fi thing, but just given a crazy big budget and dumbed down.
Very.
You know?
Very dumb movie. But that's not even that much of a pejorative toward the movie. I think it's a really fun watch. But when I say this is the most movie I've ever seen, Roland Emmerich and whoever wrote this understand the language of film like to a T, like especially like big Hollywood films. Like the way scenes lead into each other, the dumb way people like talk to each other. I think the thing, like the trope where someone's trying to figure something out and someone says something like off the cuff, like just get off the floor, you'll get a cold.
Yeah, you're gonna get a cold.
My
and
God, that's it.
That's it.
They do that like 3 times.
The aliens will get sick. Oh, wait, no, it's the 90s.
Yeah,
we've got computers.
It's gotta be a hacker virus. Yeah. No, it's a very everyone talks like they're in a movie. The whole thing is extremely Hollywood.
Everybody's witty.
Yes.
Like people only talk in one-liners in this movie.
Yep. Need to call my lawyer.
Gotta call my brother. Gotta call my housekeeper. Forget my lawyer.
Get the lawyer. Yeah. I can't not do that voice right now.
Yeah. So since we're kind of in lines, as far as the plots of this movie, or like starting a little bit of summarizing.
Yeah.
The movie opens up on the moon.
Yep.
Looking at like the little plaque, the Apollo 11 plaque.
Yeah.
And then they show the footprints, the astronaut footprints in Armstrong, and
Start to shake.
they start to shake because the alien mothership is making its way towards Earth and getting towards the moon, and it's causing
It's shaking the dust up.
shaking the moon dust and getting rid of the footprints.
Yeah.
And then
Symbolism.
yep, and, it's a pretty cool shot of the shadow going over the moon towards
Yeah.
Earth.
Ominous.
Yep. And then we transition to SETI, search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
The big dishes.
Yep, and they pick up a signal, and basically that kind of starts like we meet the president,
Mhm.
President Charles Fillmore, played by Bill Pullman,
President raspy voice.
I always call him President Lone Star. 'Cause you see him in Spaceballs, right?
Yeah.
He's Lone Star,
Yeah, he is.
so I always call him President Lone Star.
Man, John Candy should have been in this.
Yeah, as the vice president.
As Jeff Goldblum's role.
Oh, that no, but then we lose Goldblum.
That's true.
He-
Jeff Goldblum's dad.
John Candy should have been Russ
Yeah, you know what? Yes, absolutely.
instead of Randy. Quaid.
Please help poor Randy Quaid out of this movie.
Hello, boys. I'm back. And he's Barf from Spaceballs. So
He's wearing the
flying-
dog suit.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, but then the first character that we really meet, as far as like one of the main, is David, played by Jeff Goldblum.
Yep.
Bloom.
He's
And
a really smart guy, and that's all we know.
he's a really smart guy. And I love the opening scene. I love his first scene with him and his dad.
Yeah, their
It's-
relationship is great.
Their relationship is cute, and they're my favorite character dynamics in the movie. So like David and his dad, played by Judd Hirsch, who's fucking amazing in this movie.
Yeah, he is.
He's so funny, and he's got so much heart, and you really feel the love he has for his son.
Yeah,
And it opens up with them, and it just, that relationship always makes me think of like a lot of the good times I had with my mom.
mm-hmm.
Because like when we would just like hang out, watch movies, do whatever.
They're playing chess.
They're
you
playing chess in the park, and
joking with each other.
joking with each other. And during that scene, you learn so much about Jeff Goldblum's character through just like little bits of dialogue.
Yeah,
Like, he's,
yeah, it's a very efficient script.
yeah, absolutely. Like they give you information, and it's the way they do it is conversational. Like, you learn that David is like global warming. Like, he's really conscious of like global warming and stuff, because his dad, Julius, is drinking out of a plastic cup. And, David's like, those take decades to decompose. And, and you learn that like, oh, David is separated from his wife. He's divorced, but he's still wearing his wedding ring. So you know about that.
Yep.
And then, he tells his dad like, hey, you got to quit, you got to quit smoking. That's not healthy. And, you just learn so many things about his personality.
And he wins the game, so we know he's smart.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like it's really efficient, like character
Yeah,
development.
and he's got like his dad's got to catch up to the fact that he's lost. Yeah,
He's got to figure out like what he did. Like it's a really good
yeah,
scene.
it is. It's super efficient. It's a very well put together product.
Yeah.
is what I would call it.
Yeah. But what did you think of Jeff Goldblum in this movie and their?
I
and
think
Judd
Jeff
Hirsch?
Goldblum is great. Judd Hirsch is great too. He's super likable. But Jeff Goldblum, I think he's given a little more to do here than he was in even like Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a little bit more of a range,
Yeah.
which is great because you think Jeff Goldblum and you kind of think of like his like little isms,
Mm-hmm.
but like I love seeing him like actually be able to chew on something.
Exactly.
And it's nothing like crazy, but he gets drunk and like he gets upset and he gets like super happy.
Mhm.
He's got a little bit of
Yeah,
something to do.
He's definitely got an arc in this movie, David.
Yeah.
Like kind of like it's his main thing is just he doesn't have a lot of ambition,
Yeah,
really.
he's working at a TV station when he went to MIT for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. And that's the reason why his wife left him.
Yep.
Because he wasn't doing enough.
His wife, who works for President
The
Lone Star.
President Lone Star, Connie, is his personal assistant
Yep.
or whatever. So is the theory that they fucked for sure?
I hope so. For their sake,
Probably. Yeah, I'm trying to think. And then who's the next character we meet? I think we meet Russ next. That's Randy.
Oh yeah,
Randy Quaid and Miguel.
he's getting made fun of by the locals for his.
Yeah, he cropped us to the wrong field because he's
Yeah.
a pilot. Which then again, that's really important for the plot, and they just show you that immediately.
Yep.
First time you see him, he stumbles out of the
He's
plane.
drunk and he's washed up.
Yep. No.
It was an embarrassment to his family.
Yeah. That plot line for me in the movie is the weakest one.
I agree.
Um,
I think it's because they don't really have anything to do with the major plot until the very end. So they're just kind of there, like, talking about, like, Dad, I'm a little bit ashamed of you. Anyway, let's just keep going along with these guys while they do the actual movie.
yeah. I think another element of it, too, is that, like, the siblings, like Miguel, Troy, I think is the kid who's sick.
You are... you know more about them than I do.
Yeah, sorry, but, like, the whole...
I don't remember anything about those kids.
So... You know what? Oh, man, my brain's killing. You know what? Hold up.
Yeah.
I just remembered something. There is a special... Oh, this is blowing my mind. So there is a special edition, like a director's cut of this movie.
Yeah.
And the Blu-ray that I own currently does not have that special cut. It only has the theatrical edition. Growing up, we had the DVD. It was like a special edition DVD that had the director's cut. And I just fucking remembered this. One of the things they added in the director's cut, there's like 20 more minutes of movie. They added a plot line where the middle brother, because there's Miguel, the sister who like tries to get creeped on by like the boy who's like, this is your last day on Earth. You don't want to die a virgin, do you?
Yeah, creep. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the middle brother, Troy, who I just remembered. They completely cut out his plot line. In the special edition, he has a plot where he's like sick. He has some kind of like disorder that he has to take this expensive medicine for.
Yeah.
And like Miguel is really worried about him being sick. And when they get to Area 51, while they're bringing the alien in, there's a scene that they added in the special edition where Russ is running around to the doctors and scientists being like, my son needs help. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like he needs medical help. And Russ is like, you know, trying to get people to help him. And yeah, that's the version of this movie I watched more.
Really?
And
that's interesting.
it doesn't...
I don't think that adds anything.
That shows how much it doesn't add anything. Because when we watched it tonight, like, I didn't even think about the fact that plot was gone.
And when he, spoiler alert, dies at the end, you're like, well, shit, I guess that kid's just going to die now.
Yeah. And that was a whole thing, too. They added a scene of, like, Troy being healthy before Russ goes off to fly away in the special edition. Holy shit.
I'm okay. Feel free to kill yourself, Dad.
I just, in my head, like, yeah, that's one of the plots in this movie, but it's not in the theatrical version.
Wow. I mean, it doesn't add it. Yeah, I'm glad it got taken out,
That's
to be honest.
crazy. And you know what sucks is that, like, it's hard to take out anything more because Russ, he defeats the alien.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, what else? Like, they're barely there.
Yeah. Like, they really don't have much to do in the movie. I think the only solution I would see is maybe you have another character make that sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like maybe President Lone Star flies his plane.
That would have been better. Because, like, otherwise, that's the dumbest thing in this movie, by the way. I know we're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
That is the dumbest thing in this movie to me. So basically the entire fleet of humanity is about to go into the air and fight the aliens because they get, like, this little window.
Because they gave the ship a computer virus.
Sure. And then, so, like, everyone's getting in their planes, and the president is like, I'm going to go up too. And his advisors are like, what? What?
You're the president.
That's fucking stupid, actually. Like, we need you down here to, like, make calls and stuff. And he's like, nah, man.
Because they mentioned earlier
I'm going
in the movie
up in a plane.
that he was a combat pilot.
It's like, why? What? You're going to do more good down on, like, what? Like,
if you die, there's going to be a lot of chaos.
It's just
on the ground.
Is this just coping with his wife dying? Like, what's that? You have a kid. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to be... And he's just, nah, I'm not sitting this one out. It's like, you wouldn't be. This guy's an idiot. That's an example of how dumb this movie is.
I remember as a kid thinking that was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I'm like, that would never happen.
The only reason that would happen in this movie is if he ended up being the one to kill himself.
You think Joe Biden's hopping in a plane, hopping in the jet to fight the alien?
No, sir, Jack. Like... Yeah, the only justification for that is if he's the one who made the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He just lands.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything.
That would make sense. I feel like the only reason they kept the Russ character in this movie is because he's one of the more, like... He is one of the more quote-unquote funny characters in this movie.
Yeah.
I feel like his drunkenness is kind of played off a lot for
It's
laughs.
kind of just pathetic, though. Like, I guess if you think Randy Quaid in real life is funny, you'll think.
Yeah. I mean, for me, the funniest parts, the moments levity for me is with Judd Hirsch's character.
Yeah.
If they wanted to balance that out, they could have just added more scenes of add more scenes of Marty.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like,
Marty's great.
My housekeeper, my brother, my lawyer.
There's a lot of really good, just like, there's got to be like 10 like quotable lines in this movie.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of good.
I'm not Jewish. Well, nobody's perfect. That was good.
Yeah.
Hey, you alien assholes.
Up yours. That scene is yeah, I'm trying to think of the other. Basically, we don't have to summarize each plot line, but as far as the other plots of characters we follow,
There's so many.
we follow. There's the president camp. There's David and his dad, Russ, and then there's Will Smith.
Will Smith
and
as Will Smith.
Will Smith as Will Smith, fresh off the Fresh Prince, Fresh Prince of the Air, freshly princed, and his girlfriend at the first part of the movie, Jasmine.
Yeah,
by Vivica Fox.
Vivica Fox.
And they have a cute little like family dynamic going on. She's a single mom.
They have fine chemistry.
Yeah.
They have as good a chemistry as Will Smith has with anybody because he's so charming.
Yeah, like it's I like I don't know. I like them together more than I guess like David and Connie, for example. But then again, like they're divorced.
Yeah.
Of the movie. But yeah, they have pretty good chemistry. It's so like they have a cute little dynamic. She's a single mom. And I love the scene where like when the aliens are kind of coming and like they're coming out of the clouds, which by the way, that's a great visual.
My God.
In this movie.
I think they should have just kept them in the clouds the whole time.
Really?
Or like maybe just like that red glow that they have when they first come out of the clouds. It just look like they're coming out of a portal from hell.
Exactly. It's that shot overlooking the New York skyline where it's coming out of the cloud for the first time.
Yeah.
And I love the sense of scale that it has.
It's scary.
Like it's really impressive. That particular shot in purpose, as far as the kind of effects in this movie, I remember I watched the behind the scenes documentary of this too a lot as a kid. Most of the effects like that, scenes like that, shots like that, are basically composited where they have models.
Yeah, really big model usually.
Like a model of the ship, and then they just kind of cut it together with a shot of the New York skyline. And it looked great. Like when it came through the clouds, and you see up through the buildings, like the skyline.
Iconic trailer shots of all the national monuments
being
for some
destroyed.
reason that they hover over.
Yeah,
destroy.
They're really like big and intimidating, and
they
like
love stuff that goes on postcards. That's their favorite thing to blow up.
Absolutely. There's that shot of the Twin Towers with the shadows coming on it, where
we're like, no, not that,
not those ones, not that building. Was it? Anyway, but when that scene happens and like Will Smith is woken up by the ground shaking, he's like earthquake, and Jasmine's like, it's not even a 4-pointer, go back or whatever.
Yeah, they're literally the last people on their street to realize that there's aliens.
Yeah,
for some reason, like they go out,
he walks out to get the paper.
Oh my God,
see it.
That goes on for way too long.
He's looking at all.
He
his
walks out.
Leaving.
He bends over. He picks up the paper. And then he looks down. He's like weirded out by everyone else on the street looking at something on the horizon. And he's like, "Huh, that's weird. I guess they're looking at something on the horizon."
And then he looks up.
And then he goes and looks at the thing on the horizon like a normal fucking person would have done first.
Yeah, and then the camera zooms in on his face.
Yeah, and it's look, it's the flying saucer we already saw.
Yeah, it's definitely an over the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scene for sure.
This movie is very dramatic.
Yeah, I like when the kid comes in. Like, what are you doing out there? Shooting aliens. He's being serious.
That kid's hilarious.
Yeah, Dylan, super cute kid.
Yeah, very. He's in I was saying he's the little kid in so many 90s movies.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then basically we get some meandering about with the aliens. Jeff Goldblum figures out that they're bad, and then the aliens start blowing everything up.
Yep.
And then we get the best.
Yeah, he's like, guys, they're bad actually.
Yeah, no, they're not
like,
good.
Get out of here, Jeff Goldblum.
They're using our satellite. I'm a TV repairman.
Yeah,
I'm a
and
TV
he's like
guy.
he's working in like the engineering department at a TV
Direct
station.
TV.
Yeah, and like he's like, we need to get to the White House. I need to tell them what's going on. And his dad's like, what? Why wouldn't they know what's going on? It's the White House. Like, what do you know? He's like, they don't know what I know.
They don't know what I know.
And in real life, you're like, this guy's fucking insane. Like, this guy is delusional.
Yeah. Like, if he knows, they would know for sure. They'd have like 10 different guys that know.
But everyone in this movie is an idiot and doesn't know anything until someone else says it to them. Like, oh, Area 51. Oh, shit. We do have aliens. Shit, let's go.
Damn, okay, now, thank God that we know this now when things are down.
I completely forgot we have aliens in the space. Shit, we should go there.
Oh, yeah, no, the dude, like, the guy wouldn't have, the Secretary of Defense guy wouldn't have said anything until Judd Hirsch mentioned Area 51.
He forgot about it. You can see him like, he's like, oh
shit.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
You think the whole alien invasion thing would jog your memory about the alien thing.
I remember the other aliens. Yeah, fucking, I guess, yeah, as far as, like, the Area 51 goes. Oh, wait, no, I wanted to talk about the Boomer.
Yeah,
So,
Boomer.
Yeah, it's like Vivica Fox.
Best character in the movie.
There's, like, a scene where the alien explosion is coming through the tunnel really slowly.
Yeah.
And
explosion. There's a couple shots of running away from very slow
explosions.
explosions.
Yeah, these explosions, it's alien fire.
Yeah, guys, it's alien fire. It's slower than a human fire.
These explosions take their time. And she's got a really cute dog, Boomer.
This guy's golden retriever.
And he's running, he's jumping on cars.
He's running away from the explosion, and we get the shot.
At the very last second, she jumps into like a little like service closet tunnel
Boomer!
thing. And he fucking jumps at the last second before
and the crowd fucking
the
goes
explosion.
wild, dude.
Yeah, we went wild. Every time in college I showed this movie to I have a very sorry, I have a very distinct memory. I showed this movie to my college roommate.
Yeah.
And it was just me and him watching it. And during the Boomer scene, he was so invested. He's like, "Is he gonna make it?"
It's the most engaging scene in the movie.
Tell me he's gonna make it.
Please.
And then he's like, "Boomer, no!" And he goes, my roommate James goes, "No,"
because it looks, yeah.
And he jumps.
And then he jumps, and you're like, I was an idiot for ever thinking that dog was gonna die.
No, they wouldn't do that in this movie.
I would love a whole movie of just Boomers surviving the alien invasion.
Apocalypse, yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that scene,
had to talk about the Boomer scene.
Yeah. We had to go to Area 51, so we're at Area 51, and Data from Star Trek is there, and he's a goofy scientist.
He's there,
and I feel like his character was a lot of fun. I really like.
Yeah, he stands
Dr.
out
Oaken.
for sure. I think it's mainly because of his like character design,
Mm-hmm.
and also he's a nerd, so the movie fucking hates it.
Exactly. Yeah, we're mean to nerds in this movie.
This movie hates nerds. Except for Jeff Goldblum. He's the only nerd that's cool.
It's because he's a hot nerd.
Yeah, because he's a hot nerd. But this guy's a nerd, and we fucking hate nerds.
Yeah.
Look at him getting all excited about learning stuff about aliens.
Exactly. He just wants...
Fuck you. People are dying, says President Lone Star.
He just wants to play in his lab. I love the part where he talks about offering to show them the aliens, and he goes like, his eyebrows
he is kind of
so
weird,
high.
but he's weird in like... I mean, he works in like he doesn't have any friends or family, obviously, or else they wouldn't have hired him.
It seems it's inferred that like he lives on the in
yeah,
Area 51,
and this is like what he does. So yeah, he's excited because like everything's like turning on now, and like people are paying attention to what he's doing.
You want to hear something stupid about?
Yeah.
Stupid. You don't care about spoilers for Independence Day Resurgence, right?
Fuck no.
Okay, spoilers.
Never
for
watching that.
Independence Day Resurgence, which is the sequel of this movie. It fucking sucks.
Never ever watching that.
So they bring Brent Spiner back.
He died.
According to Independence Day Resurgence, no, he was just in a coma.
Bullshit.
He got knocked out. No, he was dead.
Dude felt his pulse.
Yeah, no, he like the soldier man.
His eyes were wide open.
After he got killed, was looking at him. He looked very dead.
No, actually, we could still have him in the movie.
Yeah, they brought him back, and it's dumb. That movie was so bad. Anyways,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're at 51. We get to see the aliens. We get to see the dead aliens. Actually, something I want to talk about with this
jar aliens.
Aliens in a jar. There were 3 dead alien bodies in big jars that were supposedly the aliens that crashed with the Roswell spaceship
Yeah.
is the thing. And like I said, I think I'm a bigger fan of, as far as like there's so the reason why they added the biomechanical suits as a thing
Yeah.
is like you kind of get like the two different designs. Like one's kind of a bulkier
It's cool and it makes sense.
bug looking alien. The reason why is because they came down to two design choices for the aliens.
Really?
Like one looked like their
So they
external,
had,
that's like more bug shell like, and then one that is like the big head,
It's like the little fin head. Yeah.
the fin head thing. And they couldn't decide which one they liked better, so they decided to basically put them together.
That's cool.
Yeah, and that's why they have
That makes sense. That's neat.
yeah, that biomechanical suit aspect. And I think they look pretty damn creepy.
To me, the exoskeleton looks kind of like a less intimidating or interesting Ridley Scott's Alien. And the inside alien looks a lot cooler to me than the outside alien.
They're real
But
slimy.
Yeah, but it still looks a little generic. Like, it still looks a little more like,
A gray alien.
yeah, just show me an alien, and it's just that.
With the big head, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how they kind of look more. They look very insect-like.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, they're kind of like they're spindly and
I like their little like long fingers and their
Mhm.
creepy little hands and
when he crawls out of
shiny
the
eyes.
thing.
There's a lot that I like about it, but to me it just feels like I said, it feels like sci-fi for people who don't like sci-fi.
Mhm.
Like, it's just like, what do you think of when you think of an alien? You think of these like big bug eyes and
Big head guys.
Yeah.
You had a really funny moment. The moment when so they get an alien unconscious and there's a dissection scene and scared the shit out of me as a kid. When it release me now. Oh yeah, that was cool. The creepy voice. He
Yeah.
was talking through Data.
he got his tentacles wrapped around Data's throat,
And he's-
making him talk. That shit scared me as a little kid. I thought it was cool as shit though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking scene.
And the alien basically like the stupid ass president's like, hey, what can't we work together to find peace? And the thing's like,
no.
what? Why would we do that?
Nah, that's stupid.
We can literally just wipe you out the map. Like, what do you mean peace? Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of peace once we kill all of you.
Yeah, we're gonna have peace when we're chilling.
But that's my thing though. Is like it's not. I just want to bring it up real quick. They're here, right? And there's like this big threat that show up and blow up like whole cities,
Mhm.
and then they just kind of hang out, like they're just kind of floating up there. Like
Well-
they wait to do their second attack until like 5 days later for some reason.
Well, no, it's one day because the movie takes place over the course of 3 days.
Yeah,
Because it opens on July 2nd. The aliens destroy everything the night of July 2nd,
mm-hmm.
and then July 3rd they go to Area 51. July 3rd ends with them trying to nuke one of the ships,
Mm-hmm.
and then the end of the movie is the 4th of July.
Yeah. So on that whole second day, they're just kind of hanging in air.
Well, that second day is when, like, that second day, they could have shown it more, but there was a scene where the general guy is talking to the president, and they're in, like, the war room at Area 51,
Yeah.
and they're talking about, like, NORAD said that, like, you know, they've destroyed this city, this city,
Oh,
this city,
okay.
they're moving on to this city once every, like, hour or whatever,
Okay.
and we're going to see a destruction of every major city in the next 72 hours. They say, but it's true. They don't really show it.
I'd love to see
Like-
more of it because War of the Worlds has like this. I
Yeah,
know it
the
takes place
montage.
over like a longer period, but yeah, it shows like the actual like collateral damage and human cost, and this just feels like. I mean, I probably would bring the mood down of like the fun summer blockbuster, but
I think a part of it is because this movie is very America centric.
yes,
It's sort of like this is happening all over the world, but
this
all
is
of
how
our
the U.S. is dealing with it.
all of our plot lines are specifically about
Yeah,
America.
the U.S. is going to save the world.
Yeah, like in this movie we see. Yeah, no, it's like during the main destruction
the
scene.
Brits are like, finally, the U.S. is here
Exactly.
to fix it for us.
The only times we see other countries 2 times in this movie, when the ships first arrive, we see there's like a scene on there's like a scene on a TV, like a Russian broadcast
Yeah.
of them, and then at the end of the movie, after the aliens are defeated, we see like a little victory thing around the world of like the ships crashed over Egypt and the ships crashed over.
That is exactly the
this.
same thing that happens in Mars Attacks, by the way.
Yeah.
when Tom Jones is singing "It's Not Unusual" and all the birds and deer come out.
Yeah. There must have been the same people working on both those movies.
It is insane. There's way too many.
You're making me really want to rewatch it now.
There's way too many similarities.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Absolutely. But yeah, what were we talking about? As far as like, so yeah, they never showed it, and yeah, it is very much America saves the day because the Americans
absolutely
figure out like how to do it.
It's the U.S. figuring out how to solve the world.
Exactly. But yeah, so because in the destruction scene we see Washington D.C., L.A., and New York get destroyed.
Yeah,
as far as like big tentpole, like
you get to see all the monuments.
Yeah, American City, the Empire State Building, White House. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the scene where you see the aliens in the jars at Area 51.
Yeah.
So this is something that I always thought about as a kid as like, man, I really wish they did something with this. So they say there are 3 alien bodies, and Data says these 2 died in the crash, and this one a few weeks later. So back in the 40s, 50s, or whatever, when the ship crashed, one of the aliens was alive for a few weeks.
Yeah.
I want to fucking know, like,
what happened with that?
What happened with that? Like, so it was injured. It was probably mean.
Yes.
Right? And
it's probably, lashing out and stuff.
That's something I always thought about, like, lashing out, like, attacking, like, soldiers and scientists and stuff. You could do, like, a prequel short film, animated thing, something, like a fan I want to see a fan film of someone being like, what happened when they found the aliens.
Did it try to communicate with them? Did it
lie to them?
Yeah.
Like help me, we come in peace. We give you Hulu.
Simple travelers.
You know?
Give you Hulu.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to know about cell phones?
Yo, you guys heard of this pill called Viagra? We're the Viagrans.
It's huge on Mars, dude. Huge.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that could be a cool twist. Like maybe the reason they didn't go to 51 is because like, oh, we know they're friendly because like these Roswell aliens, they were chill with us.
Yeah, they were like cool. They like helped us out a bunch.
Yeah, dude, Velcro, they set us up, bro.
Linoleum flooring, would you believe?
Dude, aluminum foil, plastic.
Dude, they were super friendly. They really wanted us to use plastic.
Yeah, no, they wanted us to use all the plastic that we could.
They said like make like single-use plastics. They said like make it so small it gets in people's blood.
Make as much plastic as possible. The idea of the invention of plastic being given us by aliens is like a secret plot to like kill us.
That is something
sick.
to run off of. Yeah, that's a fun idea.
Oh my god, we're coming up with like so much better sci-fi conceits for what you could do with aliens. There was a really cool. I don't remember what it's from. I saw a TikTok of it. I need to figure out what it was, but it was like an alien invasion thing, and there was like a soldier woman interviewing an alien.
Yeah,
and the alien looked almost human. Like they're like the only
Star Trek alien.
Yeah, I mean like they looked human minus they had really weird mouths. They had like 3 weird slits for mouths or whatever.
Cool.
And the alien said, "Yeah, we've been terraforming this planet for quite some time now, secretly. We sent a biological weapon to this planet years ago." To prepare it for us. And then it's a whole scene. At the end of the scene, the alien reveals humans are our biological weapon that we sent. Like you
blew it up.
You are the worst parts of us. Like we created you from us to come here and prepare the world and destroy the local organisms in order for us to come claim it.
Wow.
And like that shit.
If I found out that was real, I feel like that'd be like a big load off my mind.
Oh, that explains it.
I'd be like, oh, we're helping something like down the line.
Hey, we had a purpose.
Fuck it. That feels better.
Yeah. But no.
Just throw like a plastic water bottle out my window.
I'm now just gonna throw all my trash on the ground. I ain't separating my trash.
Fuck it. I'm just doing what like my purpose in life is, to be honest.
I don't know.
I leave my car running.
I love sci-fi shit like that.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Like I love a good alien stories, because aliens are really interesting to me.
You can do a lot with them.
You can do a lot with them. You can do anything with them. But I think one of the reasons I've always found aliens and alien stories so fascinating is because, in my opinion, they're like, the chances of there not being like life that we can perceive somewhere else in the universe is almost non-zero.
Yeah, no,
yes. You can argue about like if there are little green men or whatever, and like if there's something,
whether they've come here,
you know, like what does other intelligent life look like as far, you know, like as something we can perceive. You can argue that all day long.
Sure.
But there is for sure, in my opinion, other life.
Yeah.
And it's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, the universe
there's
is so
no
big.
doubt in my mind, like,
And
it'd be pretty ridiculous if it wasn't true.
yeah. And it's one of those things where it's like all you know, a lot of the good alien stories I watch, and I'm like, yeah, maybe. Like Arrival. You ever seen Arrival?
Oh, I love Arrival.
Arrival's fucking kick ass.
Yeah, I love it.
And I love that movie. Made me think about like language.
Yeah.
And
the way your brain works.
The way your brain works, and also just like the relationship between like just how we communicate.
It's so
and
good.
how much like body language and like our understanding of ourselves as beings have to do with how we communicate.
Come from how we communicate with each other.
Exactly, you know, and just the idea. I think that might have been the first movie about aliens where like they had a creature that was so far from a human.
Oh, I love it.
You know,
you don't even see the whole thing.
Yeah, like you see, they're kind of like big space squids, kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
But they got like they're really like amorphous.
Oh,
like,
and they
weird.
like the whole ship is so strange, and it's just like this big rectangle room. Oh, it's so cool. It's just so out there.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that's what I'm so frustrated with Independence Day,
because it's just
because we're talking about like everything you can do with aliens, and all Independence Day is just like, I need a disaster that's going to be aliens. Aliens are the monster. These aliens are little men.
Yeah, it's pretty much what they could.
It's like
be,
you could, So it's sci-fi.
They might as well be just like advanced civilization from another country.
Yeah,
like them being aliens is kind of null and void to like them as a threat.
Exactly. You can make aliens anything that you want, and they just made it like an invading army.
Even it's the same thing we were talking about with even when we were talking about the original War of the Worlds, how they're harvesting our blood. Like that's some weird.
That
out
is
there
interesting.
Shit,
yeah, that's something you can do. I think that's a cool idea. But this is literally just like they want to kill us, and they don't care, and they're just little guys.
Yeah, there's little dudes,
little guys.
Yeah, no, fucking, I get that. For me, it's like I've got room in my heart for weird esoteric sci-fi, and I've also got room in my heart for dumb shit like this.
I mean, I had a good time watching it, but that might also be because we were all having fun watching it, like as a group.
Yeah, this movie's a great group. I will say this: I never watched this movie alone.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you're not gonna sit there and cheer for Boomer by yourself.
Ooh, Boomer! Looks around.
Yeah. No, it's a really fun watch. It feels to me it feels like a lot more like a product than art.
I can see that,
but that has its place. That can be thoroughly entertaining in itself.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's a product that I think you can tell a lot of hard work went into.
Absolutely, there's a lot of really impressive craft in this.
Yeah, which we haven't even really talked a whole lot about, like necessarily the a lot of the special effects and like kind of production.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, no, like all the effects really hold up.
There's like a whole jet fight with a plane or with a spaceship in like canyons. Oh my god!
And it looks awesome, and like
looks great.
And they built like that out in the middle of the desert when Will Smith knocks the alien ship down and it crashes like
he welcomes it to Earth.
Yeah, no, and he walks up and he punches the alien in the face.
He's
like,
keep my wife. No, that's a little dated of a reference.
Yeah, no, and then that's what I like to call close encounter.
Yeah,
so many good lines. That I rewound.
What the hell is that smell?
I rewound that pot. Yeah, what the hell is that smell? And he's kicking it. Will Smith improvised a lot of those scenes where he's like by himself in the desert.
Hence him playing himself.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's another scene. The scene when he lands and he's yelling at the alien in the desert, for me, is like, that is a movie moment.
Yeah.
Like if
Yep.
if ironically, if aliens came down, or like actually a better example, if I met somebody who like never seen a movie before in their life,
Yeah.
like if they came from like a living situation where like they just had never seen a movie,
Yeah.
and I tried to explain to them what a movie is, I'd probably show them that fucking scene.
No, it's extremely movie.
Yeah.
It's very movie.
But yeah, no, it's the same thing where it's like I feel like this kind of thing where it doesn't really have any kind of like layers
No.
artistically.
Nope. It's just fun to watch.
It's fun to watch. It's kind of like
Plays your emotions just the right ways.
I compare it to like good pop music.
Yeah.
Whereas
there's no interpretation. It's just.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah.
It plays your strings just right, and it knows exactly what to do that.
Yeah, it plays it. It's catchy.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there was anything else in this movie. I mean, there are a lot of interesting little facts about this movie.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot going on.
there's from the documentary there, I remember the original design of like the. Oh, I want to tell you, the little fighters have a lot of similarity visually to the War of the World ships.
I noticed that. Yeah.
I think they're kind of like shaped.
They look like
almost
that.
similar.
Yeah, with the periscope like down. It
Mhm.
looks a lot like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Also the fact that David's character is very much almost like a reinterpretation of Dr. Forrester.
Oh yeah, he looks a
Like,
lot like him too.
They have the same glasses. Like
he says a couple of the same lines too, doesn't he?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Similar affectations. Like there was something in the original War of the Worlds. They made a big note of like that he doesn't smoke.
Yeah.
Like someone offers him a cigarette, and the
Yeah.
first one he's like, no, I don't smoke.
And that's a big deal in this too.
Yeah, it's a big deal with David when he's like, Dad,
It's a whole arc.
you know, and he smokes by the
Yeah,
end.
he smokes a cigar, which
Yeah.
is a whole arc with Will Smith and his irritating fucking friend.
Oh yeah, Jimmy.
I hate that guy. That guy
I
is
don't-
so annoying.
I don't necessarily hate Jimmy. I just find it funny how obvious that he's gonna die.
He exists
Is-
only to make funny joke, and also I am your friend, and I'm going to die later.
Yeah, just like
Oh,
only
he's so annoying.
we're gonna celebrate later. We're gonna do this.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. I like how like the little bit of arc for Will Smith where like he gets he gets the NASA letter because he wants to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
And it was fun when he opens his locker in like the army base, Will Smith. He's got like a little NASA picture, like a space picture.
Yeah.
Because he's like,
'Cause
you know,
he likes it.
in case you didn't know what he wants. That's another
He
thing.
likes space.
Yeah, that's another example too of them just doing efficient storytelling.
Very
like,
efficient.
Really like narrowing it without
Mhm.
just saying it.
Yeah.
They show it to us visually.
It's fluency in the language of film.
You know,
Extreme fluency.
Yeah, and like it's told to us conversationally. Same
Yes.
thing with like it was a good transition with when Jimmy talks about you're never gonna get into space if you marry a stripper, and then it
Yeah.
transitions to Jasmine in the strip club.
Strip
so like
club. Yep.
which yeah, no, like
There's a lot of little edits like that.
yeah. I feel like in a you know what I think this movie as a disaster movie like this does better than a lot of other disaster movies I can think of. So like and a lot of them directed by Roland Emmerich also.
Yeah,
like
he's the disaster movie guy.
is that all of these kind of movies that do the like we have got a bunch of different plot lines with a bunch of different characters and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie transitions between them very well.
Very well, yeah.
Like where I feel like at least for me, I don't get lost with what's happening with each plot
No,
like
it's
group.
very clear and simple.
Yeah,
Cut
like
and dry.
each one has their own specific kind of thing. And you know what? That's probably is a big reason why they cut a lot of Russ's story.
Yeah, it would have muddied the waters a little bit.
Yeah, because I can imagine like having any more than the amount of plots.
Yeah,
would really
there's a
suffer.
lot. There's a lot of plot lines and a lot of characters in this movie.
Yeah. And the second thing is that they merge them and blend them and cross them pretty well.
Yeah,
Like I like the
it
fact
feels very natural when they meet too.
yeah, like I like when Will Smith runs into Russ in the desert and he's
Yeah.
carrying the alien, which that felt like a crossover. Like these are two characters that I
Wait
never,
a minute, this is the same movie.
but also that's the only time those characters interact in the whole movie.
Good.
Is that one little exchange?
That was our limit.
Yeah, and just how everyone comes together at the end.
Yeah, I like it. I like especially I think there's some untapped potential with Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith as like
As like a duo.
yeah.
They have good chemistry.
They do,
and
and they're only together for like
just the end
10
bit.
minutes or so,
Mm-hmm.
and like that's intercut with other scenes.
Yeah, they definitely have some fun things.
They have a good dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum in general has. I feel like there isn't a whole lot of potential with his range. I watched a movie for the first time recently. I have the Criterion of it. It's called Deep Cover, and it stars Lawrence Fishburne. And it's kind of like a noir crime story, and Jeff Goldblum in the movie plays like a drug kingpin.
Okay.
And it's a very different kind of role for him.
Wow.
And he plays it very interestingly.
Interestingly, huh?
Yeah, well, because he's kind of his whole character is like he was like a rich guy lawyer who kind of just got addicted to the lifestyle and
He's
like
must go faster, must go faster.
must go faster. He's like doing coke all throughout the movie, and he's like having sex with
Okay.
prostitutes and stuff. And
Does he still have like the Goldblumisms?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
"Well,
But he gets dark at the end. Like he starts
Ah.
murdering people, becomes a real villain.
That's really funny to imagine.
Yeah, and then also we're definitely gonna do an episode. Actually, I think it should be our next episode that
Okay.
you and me do.
For sure.
We're gonna watch The Fly
Hell yeah. Yes,
um,
absolutely.
because he is
I've never seen it.
that is his best performance in my opinion.
Yeah.
When he, you know the premise of The Fly, right?
Yeah.
Like he gets fused with a fly and transforms.
Kafkaesque.
When it starts to mess with his mind and his personality and stuff, like it's really tragic. And there's like a lot of great little subtle things he does with his performance in that movie. That
He's like, I have to fly.
well, no, just like little
I haven't seen it.
little ticks he does when he starts to act bug-like, like little twitches he does. He's just so good in it. And yeah, sorry, I think
He's like, he was rubbing his little hands together really fast.
yeah. I think I want to talk a little bit about. So, what are your primary negatives with the movie? I feel like I've been praising it a lot, and but
I think I got a lot of negatives out.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit soulless, just
Mhm.
a little bit. It's definitely got sentimentality to it, but I don't think it definitely doesn't have anything to say
mhm.
aside from like the indomitable human will and like America is number one.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, it's just stuff I've already said. Where it's just like the sci-fi from a guy who doesn't really care for sci-fi.
Mhm.
That's how it feels. It feels like a big dumb blockbuster, but that's not necessarily a negative.
Yeah. For me personally, the biggest negative is just Russ's storyline being the weakest.
Yeah,
Like whenever we got back to him and his family, I'm like, okay, come on, get back to anyone else. But you know, like I said, there isn't a whole lot of him really.
yeah,
And then this isn't really negative for me, but it is. Sorry, people who I've watched this movie with always kind of say they just don't like how cheesy it is.
yeah.
You know, because
It's extremely cheesy.
it's very cheesy. It's very hammy.
And I think I said it earlier, but this movie is just dumb. And there's so many points. There's so many points when you just roll your fucking eyes, and it's like, oh my god, really?
It's just a thing where it's like
It hates nerd.
like I feel like I'm biased in that like I love cheesy.
Yeah,
I love hammy over the top stuff because and it's a thing where it's like content that is very serious to me, it's easy for me to just get bored.
interesting.
Like there's a lot of for something that's very serious to entertain me, it's really got to pull off something different or like be executed in a way that like really grips me.
Yeah, for me, I tend toward that kind of like super serious stuff. Like, yeah, I love a good just like drama of two people. Like, I love just a scene of people like arguing in a room or like, yeah, I love like a good thriller or something like super like grounded. Now that said, that can go the other way and just make you roll your eyes again if someone just trying to be too edgy or trying to say like this is gritty. So yeah, I'll dip my toes in this kind of schmaltz, like this super like out there stuff, or like this not out there, but this super like Hollywood cheesy bombastic stuff. That's fun to watch every now and then.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example of like some movies that are super serious that I'm just not huge. Like there's some Christopher Nolan film like I didn't like Oppenheimer. I hated Tar. Did you see Tar? Came out last year.
Not so
About
far.
it's people put it in like a similar category as like Whiplash, which I don't. I really 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 like Whiplash.
Yeah.
Another thing too with like serious movies are usually pretty long,
Yeah, that's true.
and like
Well, so like we're talking about serious movies. My favorite movie is 28 Days Later.
I love that movie.
Yeah, me too.
But-
I would call that a pretty serious movie. It's got bright points, not necessarily that are funny, but like they give you like that kind of sentimental feel. Like they're like the characters, you can tell that they love each other and they found safety with each other, and that feels good. And when I say I like serious, like grounded movies, that's what I mean. I like movies that make you feel a range of emotions, and like to me, Hollywood makes you feel that, but it doesn't make you feel it to the same extent as something that came out of somebody's soul like that. You know what I mean?
I understand that for sure.
Like the range isn't as wide.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I really like that movie too. And well, another thing too is that example, it is about something grounded.
Mm-hmm.
I think another thing too is like it also has to do with if it's subject matter that I don't necessarily care about. I'm trying to think of an example.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Like with Tar, it's just about like musical composers, like music professors or whatever.
Yeah. I can't watch a movie about a company forming. Like I fell asleep during Social Network. I'm never gonna watch Blackberry. I'm never gonna watch fucking the Rubik's Cube. I'm never gonna watch any. Who gives a shit?
Social Network was okay. It had
care. Like I understand that it's really well written and everything. I just don't care about shares and shit.
Yeah, it's definitely not an exciting thing for sure. Or like that Dumb Money movie.
Yeah.
That came out.
Oh, that one flopped.
Yeah, or like a movie I remember a lot of my buddies love that I hated. Have you seen The Big Short? It's about. Like,
I did. I didn't understand a thing about it.
I found it boring.
I watched it. Yeah, I think it just didn't hold my attention.
Yeah, boring as fuck.
I think the same director directed the Dick Cheney movie, and I actually did like that movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of
Vice.
I think Vice, and I think that kind of voice carries you a long way. Like I'm not necessarily that interested in Dick Cheney either, but I think a lot of it goes into craft, and you can make anything interesting if you're considering those people who aren't necessarily interested in your subject matter when you're writing it.
Yeah, I think not to bring it back to Star Wars. I think the way I'm finding it hard to grasp what I mean when I say serious, and Star Wars is coming to my brain because I think this is a good example. Something like the Star Wars sequel trilogy 7 through 9 are movies that miss the point of what is great about Star Wars.
Yeah, I can see that.
And a lot of it has to do with the campiness.
Right.
And I think that like those movies, the sequel trilogy in particular, they have this air of like assuming that the audience thinks like, look how important this is.
Yeah.
Like look how
really cashing in on like, this is what you want, right? Here it is. Yeah.
Like and just they take a lot of the fun out of it.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
And I think it's a thing where it's like it's really hard to grasp, like something that I think the prequels have too, as far as like it's a sense of imagination and newness.
Yeah.
And like this like sense of discovery and like a naturalness that you feel in the world. I remember I was watching this video that was kind of going into it, like with the aliens in the new trilogy. Anytime you see like an effect or an alien or a droid or a creature in the new 7 through 9, most of the time it's just like to show you like, hey, look at this creature,
check it out,
and it's not necessarily like a plot thing.
Yeah,
like the reason why
it's just there to be like, look how cool the alien is.
Exactly, like check it out. Whereas like the reason you see all the droids at the beginning of the first Star Wars like is because Luke and Uncle Owen are buying new droids for the farm, or whatever. And like a lot
of the time in the new trilogy, they're just there.
Yeah, things are just like in the background. Like check out that cool spaceship in the background. And check out this. Like there's no context.
Yeah.
As to like
it has nothing to do with the story. It's just there to like for filler.
Yeah, like to show exactly why that is, and that's a big part of like the heart and soul that is missing. It's like it's people going, and it's the same thing I'm talking about with like this serious thing where it's like someone like Christopher Nolan with Oppenheimer. Like it's like he's just trying to be like, look how cool this is. Like look at like it's like it's I know what it is.
Faux grandiose.
It's this difference of like when somebody is making art that you feel is really coming from them and really coming from their passion of what they love.
Yeah.
Like with Star Wars and George Lucas, we're talking about Star Wars a lot in this episode.
Yeah.
He made those original 6 movies as a love letter to watching like early sci-fi on TV.
Same with Indiana Jones
and adventure stories,
adventure serials.
Exactly, and his love for all of that is what those 6 movies came from. 7 through 9 are all just
Remember Star Wars,
and not even from a place of like somebody who loves Star Wars, but from a place of like somebody trying to calculate what will people love to see.
Well, they're products.
Yeah.
And
I guess we're getting more into the difference between art and product, and I didn't really explain my point.
Movies have to be both.
Yeah, I like cheesy movies.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on Independence Day. It's fun. Check it out. I would love to see it in a theatrical setting.
It's fun.
With a big crowd, especially.
Yeah, it's fun. Watch it with friends.
Absolutely. I don't really think I have anything more to talk about with
with Independence Day.
This is going to be our longest episode.
Hey, man. I think I had a good time.
45 minutes. Yeah, we talked a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot to say today. We both got a little bit caffeinated, and we got in there.
Exactly. My tea did not have caffeine.
Oh, damn.
That's how we're going to wrap this up. We got to talk about what teas.
Oh, shit. We forgot to bring up the tea.
Yeah. Mine was decaffeinated, but yeah, I had just a decaf green tea, and it was splendid. It's a Bigelow decaffeinated green tea.
I couldn't find any branding on the box for this. It just says Indian.
The China green tea thing.
No, it was Indian orange black tea.
Yeah,
and it's from like Modern Sommelier or some shit. I couldn't find the name of the brand. I was looking for it.
That came from a big box set of teas we got from like
good.
We got it from like a Michaels or a Home Goods or something like that. It was like a big of just like international teas, like English breakfast tea, Japanese this tea, just like, and that was the whole.
Thank you, Michaels.
Yeah, thing. Yeah, I've become a big tea drinker.
Tea is good. It's especially good because in the afternoon you don't really want coffee, so you're just like, I just want to drink something hot that isn't just water.
Yeah, it is a good subtle.
Make a pot of Kool-Aid.
Drink. Yeah, I might drink some more tea after this. I don't know.
Oh shit, dude. Slow down.
Well, just I'm trying to debate. There's like a work thing online I have to do that I've been considering. Like, do I want to do it in the morning or do it now? But I'm really tired.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna sleep and get up a little early and do it.
You should just
morning.
do it in your sleep.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, wouldn't it? Dude, if I didn't have to sleep, my life.
Or if you could have the Inception Leonardo DiCaprio, like put your brain on,
dude,
kind of thing.
Oh, that's like my dream.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of good clips out of this episode.
Yeah.
Anywho, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
This has been LC.
Joseph F. Arthurs, I think.
Cool. Thanks for listening to Midnight Movie Gang, episode 8. Go out and watch these movies. Have a nice night. And it's midnight. In 4 minutes, it'll be Midnight Movie.
4 minutes to midnight.
4 minutes to midnight. Have a nice night, y'all.
So, here we go. The child expectations and the complexes which the police are searching for James Hunt, believed to be the lover of Miss Williams, and her partner in the horrible murder of Walter. We grant everybody that I hear it all gone. Oh, please tell me where they're going. Please tell me. Sorry, I don't know. How long is it? Mile and a half? What could I done in here? 3 tickets to Albany on 6 o'clock train tonight. What do you think? Special agent. Special agent.